We just came out from a movie, my girlfriend and I, and somebody says you better turn on the radio when you get in your car. We were with some friends, so they turned the radio on. We heard that Pearl Harbor had been bombed, yeah. Well, it was like about 3 or 4 months later, and again, my girlfriend was involved. Her uncle, anyway, he was over visiting that night when I went to visit my girlfriend, and he says, "Young man, what are you going to do?" He knew I was about 20 years old then. I said, "I don't know, I haven't decided yet. You go on down to the Navy and ask them for the V5 course. That's the best thing you can get into." That's just the way he put it to me. So about 2 months later, I was thinking I was going to get drafted if I didn't do something. So I told my mother I was going to go down and talk to the Navy. And so I went into the Navy in the recruiting station, and the guy says, "Have you got any preferences?" And I says, "Yeah, V5. He says, "Oh, you want to learn to fly?" I said, "I suppose so. That's fine with me." And we heard a train coming, and so we ran like hell to see if we couldn't get across the tracks before this train came, but we didn't. We ended up laying there on the embankment looking up like this as this train went by. Well, here was all these Japanese leaning out of the car, and they were all pointing to our plane out there in the bay sinking. So we knew we were known of. And we had a lookout placed a little ways down, but we couldn't sit there all night because the crickets were so bad, and you couldn't hear anything, you couldn't see anything. So we would come up about midnight. Don Henry, this is TBF pilot that was with us. He had been down on watch, and he came in a little bit later, and he says, "Bill," I was in one of the huts, and he came in, and he was in the same room with me. He said, "Everything's okay," and he laid down on this. You didn't have a bed, you had a little bamboo platform, that's what it was, and you laid on that. He laid there, and about an hour later, "Bill, there's somebody outside." I said, "What do you mean there's somebody outside?" And he says, "I can hear something." I don't know how he knew it, but he says, "Christ, they're Japs." And I got right over by the door, and here he had gone around the corner. It was our agreement that anything ever happened, we would go around and get over these 2 fences and slide down the embankment, which was nothing but dirt, you could slide down there. Next thing you know, he's coming back, and he says, "Bill, help me, I've been hit." And I could see his leg bleeding bad. Well, I reached out and I says, "Don, get inside." I says, "That white undershirt, they can see it." I grabbed him like this, and just as I grabbed his arm to pull I grabbed his left arm, and I was pulled on him. I says, "Come on in." And he was trying to hold his leg. I mean, immediately the gunfire was terrific, and they had him nailed, and he just was shaking as he went down. I went right down with him. We were both on the ground. I was hurting pretty bad in my arm here because I had been hit with one of the bullets. I grabbed him and I tried to pull him inside, and I couldn't do it, and he was pretty much dead. He'd been hit many times. Later on in the prison camp, we heard that the French came running to me one day. "Qu'est-ce que c'est, Adam? Qu'est-ce que c'est, Adam? Qu'est-ce que c'est, Adam?" What the hell's the matter with them, I didn't know what Adam meant. They wanted to know what an atom bomb was. They'd been listening on their secret radio, they heard the news that an atom bomb had been dropped on Japan. So we knew then that the war was over with and was going to get the hell out of there.